Hello traders and welcome to another video of God Tier Alpha. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is covered calls, and these calls just have yields that are insane. And we're going to talk about the ROI of all of this and how to pull it off. If you like alpha like this, if you like passive income, really more of a hedge fund kind of type of way to trade, watch this video that you're about to see, of course, and also sub to the Discord that I have below. We cover so much more hedge fund stuff, so if you're sick of just getting liquidated on 100x leverage, check out the Discord, and we're going to prevent that from happening and provide you with some tools so that you can actually make money, not just burn it. Okay. Covered calls. So for those that don't know, what is a covered call? A covered call is when you own spot of an asset. So you actually own the asset itself, and then you also short a call at a higher strike price. Now, people do this for a lot of different reasons. Some people do it just to collect passive income. Some people do it because of a view that they have on the asset's price. But really, what I want to tell you is with covered calls, there's really only two outcomes that can happen to you. One is that the underlying price settles past the strike price of your shorted call. And in that case, you would lose money on the short call, but you would make money on spot, and you would exit your spot trade once the short call expires. The other situation that can also happen is if the underlying price is below the strike price of your call, then you will just earn the entire premium of the call, but you will be at an unrealized loss with the spot asset that you're holding most of the time. So really there are two scenarios that can happen. One that you basically settle everything in cash and have a guaranteed profit. The other one where you're still holding the asset, Bitcoin here, but you have a little bit of extra cash. Let's dive in. So what are the absolute best cover calls? There are two reasons why the December 2024 calls are crazy overpriced. Like when you look at these prices, it's hard to even imagine. I mean, people are very, very bullish, and you can take advantage of that. So we're talking about 4 different exchanges, giving you 4 different opportunities across multiple markets. How can we take advantage of this? Let's start with the biggest options platform on the planet when it comes to crypto, Deribit. So on Deribit, we can see here, these are the December 27th of this year, the quarterlies. They expire in 286 days. So yeah, it's going to be a long time, but let's go over the yield, shall we? So there's two reasons why these are very, very expensive. First of all, the implied volatility, meaning the expected volatility of the next 286 days, is incredibly high, and it's probably not going to be this high, I think, in a few months. The second reason is actually a lot cooler. It's because of something called a forward contract, or a futures contract, non-perpetual. So guys, what this basically means is that the December 2024, December 27, 2024, all of these prices, all these options are based on this underlying future. They are not based on the current price of BTC, which at the time of recording is about 68 grand. It is actually based on something that's 77 grand. So if you think about it this way, if you short a call, you're getting an extra $13,000 that is going to decay. So in your favor when you short the call. Because when you're shorting that call, all of these prices are built into the fact that it's using a future that is a lot more expensive than the current price. So now let's talk about yields. So it depends on what you think is going to happen to Bitcoin, but I really, really like the idea of just hunting for the highest implied volatility we can get within reason. So some of these are just fantastic, but the 100K really strikes out as amazing. So what this is basically saying, guys, is if you short this call right now, you are going to receive $14,000 per Bitcoin. So what does that look like? Well, what that basically looks like is we are long 1 BTC in spot. You own the Bitcoin, you buy it immediately, and then you short this call. And you do this on 2 different exchanges because you don't want to use your spot Bitcoin as margin directly for this, because this is BTC margin. So when we do this, we short the call, we use a stop loss with that, and we use buy Bitcoin at spot, and then we hold that. So what's going to end up happening is, guys, if the price of Bitcoin is below $100,000 in 286 days, then you will just make $14,000 for about $15,000. Plus, you already own Bitcoin. So what are some really good scenarios? A really good scenario would be, let's say you buy Bitcoin right now and you short that call. A phenomenal scenario would be if you did that and the price settled to 90,000. Because if price settled to 90,000, what's going to happen is you're going to earn the entire premium. You're going to earn 14.7 grand. And then you're also going to get a profit of 22K by my math, because you bought at 68 and the price is at 90K, in December. Let's go over to another scenario. Let's say the price of Bitcoin falls down to $50,000 at the end of the year. What ends up happening to us? Well, that's not a great thing, but really good news, because we shorted this call for $14.7 thousand and we bought Bitcoin at 68K. Essentially, we're looking at not that bad of a loss. If the price of Bitcoin's at 50K, that means that our spot position is down about 18K. But we make about 14.7 grand from shorting the option. So because of that, we're only at a total loss of about $3,000 or $4,000. And the benefit of this is it's an unrealized loss, because you take a realized gain when you short the option and collect the premium once it expires. Okay. So that is one thing you can do here. If you don't want to use BTC margin, one more thing that I wanted to show, just these premiums are just getting out of hand and kind of insane. These are the December 27th, you can see right here. The most expensive one that I saw, where was that guy? They're all very, very expensive, which is phenomenal because we're shorting these. This one right here, there's an 110,000 strike price, which means that, for this to settle in the money, meaning you're going to be losing, price would have to be above 110 grand. In December. Not only would price have to be above 110 grand, you get to collect a premium of about 11.5K. Okay. So as long as price is below this and you hold spot, you just make a really, really nice premium. So that's a really, really good one. Now let's go talk about USDT. So I want to make a really big distinction for those who are interested in this kind of cover call strategy, guys. These two exchanges are using Bitcoin as margin. That means that the margin that you put up is BTC, and your P&L is going to be BTC. They're going to pay you out in BTC. Got it? For this, Deribit, and OKX. Not the case with these two. CoinCall Bybit and the Delta exchange use just traditional USDT or USDC as margin. That means that is what is going to be, you're putting at risk, and it's also going to be paid out at settlement. All right. So if this is more your cup of tea than, using Bitcoin as margin, let's go look at this. So if we go to CoinCall, some of these premiums are just really, really, really nice. This guy just sticks out. 10.5K call that we can short at a strike price of 125K. To clarify what that means, guys, that means that you have a break even. If you were just to short this call, you have a break even of 135,000. So you would need the price of Bitcoin to be above 135K by December for you to lose money. And not only that, you wouldn't lose money because you also bought spot and you made a lot of money from, your spot holdings increasing. So this kind of strategy can pay out a lot because the forward dated futures are just so overpriced. 77.6K when the current price of Bitcoin is about 68,000. These are very, very overpriced futures, and you can completely swoop in and just take advantage. Like the 80,000, if you're bearish on Bitcoin, you can collect $20,000 here. So these covered calls are looking good, but one thing I do have to talk about, kind of the elephant in the room, is if price does rise, it all depends on how much margin you put up. So we don't want to do like a very, very, like 5x short on this call. We want to put up a lot of margin. So this kind of strategy does require a fair amount of money to pull off. A covered call strategy does. So for this to work, you're going to have to put up a lot of margin, and then you'd also have to put a stop loss on your short call to ensure that you never get liquidated. What you could also do, theoretically, not a good idea what I'm about to say, but it is something you could do, is you could just not set a stop loss price for your option trade, and then just take profits on your spot and just use that as kind of a hedge. But that's, risky, of course. That's the risk component of a covered call. Okay, so that's something that you do have to worry about. However, there is a way there's a way that you can never be liquidated. Yeah, what am I saying? So that's what you would do if you were shorting a call on one of these two. That's not the case here, and it's not the case here. So both CoinCall and Bybit use portfolio margin. What that means is that they margin your entire account. If you deposit 1 BTC on Bybit, and then you take other cash, let's say 20 grand, and you short a call those two positions will act against each other and you can't be liquidated. Okay? Because your delta is zero. You don't have a delta. If price goes up $200,000, you cannot be liquidated because your spot holdings of BTC are going to margin your loss of your short. So this is even less risky because essentially if you deposit, your Bitcoin here, hold it in spot, they're going to use that as collateral and, you should be fine. So you just have to have also extra cash to short it. So speaking of Bybit, the premiums are also pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, you can see some of them right here. $110,000, the 110,000 strike. You can short this for 12.2K. You can short the 130K for 10 grand. That's really overpriced right here. So after doing a deep dive on all these platforms, I wanted to give you guys as many different ways you can do this as possible. The absolute best looks like it's Bybit. The absolute best does look like it's Bybit because if you're a more serious trader, which you probably are if you've made it this far in the video, and you have a fair amount of capital, depositing one Bitcoin onto Bybit, then having let's say 10 to 20 grand in cash to short this call. Or actually, they might even allow you to do that with less cash, but I don't know. You would be completely delta hedged, essentially. Because if you are long one spot asset and you are short one call, that's a hedge, because your delta is at most, at worst, your delta is zero, So, yeah. You can't lose more than $1 per price change if you short one call. That's not possible. So, and you can't make more than $1 per price change if you buy spot. So you are hedged. So yeah, this seems like such a good strategy. And I'm surprised why more people on Twitter and Reddit and everywhere aren't talking about this. These premiums are really overpriced, guys. And there's a lot of money to be made if you have the capital to pull this off. So I did want to reveal that. So yeah, as you can see here, the absolute best is Bybit for sure. Probably second best is Deribit or CoinCall. Worst is OKX. Bybit, your break even here is $140,000. Yeah. And if we go even earlier, you don't have to do a December contract. These are the best by far. But let's say we want to pull off a July. This is trading at $4,000 more. And if we want to do let's say the 100K, you can collect 4.1 grand right now, just shorting this. You short this and you own one Bitcoin. As long as Bitcoin by July isn't above 100K, you just collect 4.1K. So there's a lot of money to be made with covered calls for those who have larger accounts. And here's how you make it. Portfolio margin, deposit one Bitcoin, short one call, and walk away. And if you're using BTC as margin, you need to use stop losses or corresponding take profits. So hope this wasn't too complicated. This is a little bit of what the Discord's like. It is challenging stuff, but if you're interested in this more higher level of analysis, looking for alpha, looking for really good income like this, join the Discord below. I think you're really going to like it. People have been happy so far. So with that, happy trading and go make some money.